What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and this is my 3-month later review of the Samsung Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. So spoiler alert, I really do like these phones, and that's the main reason why I've been using the S8 Plus as my primary daily driver since it came out. And there's lots of good reasons for that, which we'll be covering in this video. And although we'll mostly be talking about the S8 Plus in this video, we'll also be touching on the S8, which has the same features with some minor differences. So to start off with, I have to say that these have the best smartphone displays on the market right now. And they're called infinity screens for a good reason. You barely have any bezels, which means you get a huge 6.2-inch display on the S8 Plus in a relatively compact body. Comparing this to something like the iPhone 7 Plus, you can clearly see how much of a bigger display you have with a similar size shell. And with the regular S8, you get a 5.8-inch display in a much more compact form factor. Now, these aren't the first smartphones with minimal bezels, but they are the first smartphones with minimal bezels and curved displays. The edges are beautifully curved over on both sides and are symmetrical on the back too, which not only make these look great, but also more comfortable to hold. The new design also brings a new aspect ratio 18.5:9 instead of the standard 16:9 we see on smartphones. And what this means is that you get much more onto your screen vertically, which is ideal for when you're scrolling through apps such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. This is especially useful when you're using multi-window. So for instance, you can have a video playing and be typing within your messaging app at the same time quite comfortably. Now, one of the things that some people have been talking about is the black bars that you get on the left and right when viewing 16:9 videos. Personally, for me, this hasn't really been an issue because on a traditional device, you'd have a similar viewing experience, except those black bars would be bezels. Also, you can always crop to fit, but that will cut off some of your video. These are also Super AMOLED displays, which means you get vibrant colors, deep blacks, and super sharp details because of the Quad HD Plus resolution. Now personally, I have my S8 Plus mostly in full HD mode, mainly because at a normal viewing distance, I don't think you need that amount of detail, but having Quad HD Plus is ideal for VR, and these work great with the Samsung Gear VR 2. Another reason to switch to full HD mode is to save on battery life, and the S8 Plus for me has been pretty good overall. Now, battery life can vary depending on your usage and if you're mostly on Wi-Fi or 4G, but on a general day, I get about 4 to 5 hours of on-screen time on the S8 Plus. But on some days when I've been on Wi-Fi at home, I've got up to 6 hours plus. Now with the regular S8, you'll be getting slightly less because of the smaller battery size, but generally speaking, I think you should be absolutely fine with both of these, and you do have fast charging and fast wireless charging whenever you need a quick top up. Now let's talk a little bit about the build and design of these, and once again, I have to say, these are the best looking smartphones out there right now. The combination of the metal frame with the symmetrical curved Gorilla Glass 5 panels on the front and back mean these phones look absolutely gorgeous. The plain glass at the back can, however, attract some fingerprints, but there's a simple solution to that, and that's with a skin from our channel sponsor Dbrand. Now, my favorite skin at the moment is the Dragon skin, and this also gives the device more grip. And if you're interested in picking one of these skins up, I'll be leaving a link to Dbrand in the description below. And we still have IP68 water and dust resistance, so you'll have no problems if you take these for a bit of a dip. Now, one design criticism that I can't go unmentioned is the placement of the fingerprint scanner. It works well and it's super fast, but I really wish they had placed it below the camera in a more reachable position that wouldn't risk you smudging the lens. Now, you do get used to it after a bit because of muscle memory, but nevertheless, it is still inconvenient, and there are lots of rumors that Samsung were trying to embed it within the display, but they didn't manage to do this in time, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it in time for the Note 8 either. So hopefully we'll have a fingerprint scanner embedded within the display for the S9s. Now, there is an alternative and secure method to unlock your device, and that is with the iris scanner. It works well in general, but does take longer than the fingerprint scanner. Plus, for someone like me who wears sunglasses and glasses a lot, it's not the most ideal unlocking method. Now for the performance, inside these you have either the Snapdragon 835 or the Samsung Exynos 8895 with 4 GB of RAM. And as expected, in my experience, the S8s have been very smooth overall. I've done a few speed tests with some competitive devices, and I will link to those in the description below if you want to check them out. For the software, you have Android version 7.0, and I still haven't got my update to Android 7.1.1 as yet. Personally, I don't really mind the skin, and it's not as heavy as it used to be. It also does provide some useful features like letting you customize the menu buttons and choosing between having them there or only when you swipe up. But my main issue with software skins are the updates. I understand that they can't come right away, but they can take a very long time to come sometimes, and I really do hope that Samsung stay on top of the updates and we get the Android O update soon after it's out. For storage, you have 64 GB as a base and a micro SD card slot, so storage really won't be a problem for you. And I do think you'll be using a lot of storage on these devices because of all the images and videos that you'll be taking with them. So we have a 12 megapixel camera with an f1.7 aperture, optical image stabilization and dual pixel autofocus. Now specs wise, they might not seem too different, but we do have some improvements in image processing and stabilization. Images are super sharp, vibrant, with excellent performance in low light, and video is great with the fastest autofocus you'll find. You also have manual controls for both video and images, which do give you flexibility over your shots. The front-facing camera now has 8 megapixels with an f1.7 aperture and takes great selfies overall. Now it's not as wide as it was last year, but it is definitely more stable when using video. Looks like Samsung have added some form of stabilization to the front-facing camera without telling anyone about it, and this was discovered by the teardown video of the S8 by my buddy Zach from Jerry Rig Everything. Now I've done a ton of super SAF style camera comparisons of the S8s with some of the competitors, so definitely do go ahead and check those out on the channel. We've still got a single bottom-facing speaker. It's okay, but obviously not as good as stereo speakers. You do, however, get some AKG earphones out of the box, which do sound pretty good. Now let's talk about Bixby, Samsung's very own personal assistant, which can be launched via the dedicated button below the volume buttons. So firstly, the voice assistant hasn't fully rolled out yet, and it's not here in the UK right now anyway, so I can't really tell you much about that. But from what I've seen, it does perform pretty well, letting you take actions within apps. There's also the Bixby Visual Assistant, where you can point the camera at things such as buildings and products, and it's going to pull up some more information about those. It works okay in my experience. I mean, I was in Dubai, I pointed this at the Burj Khalifa, and sure enough, it did bring me some information about the Burj Khalifa. But generally speaking, I haven't found myself using it too much. One of the things that I do like is the reminder it gives you to switch on your alarm, for instance. I'm not sure how to activate this and to make it remind you when you've not switched one off or anything, but I have noticed it pop up now and then, and that has been definitely useful. So guys, that is my 3-month later review of the Samsung Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. As mentioned, there's lots of things to like about these devices, maybe a few shortcomings which hopefully will get improved next year. But overall, I do think these are the best smartphones you can buy right now, and it'll be interesting to see how they're compared to the Note 8 and the iPhone 8 when they come out. What do you guys think of the S8s? Definitely drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And if you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe and switch on notifications. There's plenty more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time.